She stood in the shadows of the auditorium, her heart pounding harder than the music blaring from the speakers. The flashing lights danced across her face, and yet, no one noticed the new girl in the corner. Alina's hands trembled as she held the edges of her flowing sky-blue dress, a second-hand piece her mother had spent 3 nights stitching together to make look new. It wasn't brand name or glamorous, but it was hers. And tonight, graduation night, it was supposed to be the start of her redemption. But fate had a twisted sense of humor. Because just 10 minutes before her name would echo across that stage, her world shattered. Laughter, sharp, cruel, echoing, filled the corridor behind the gym. Alina's scream was swallowed in the chaos as 3 girls grabbed her, pushed her against the lockers, and tore her dress apart. Ripped fabric fluttered to the floor like fallen wings. The bullies didn't just strip her of cloth. They tried to strip her of dignity. But what they didn't know was that she had something far stronger stitched into her soul. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up against cruelty, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this find the hearts that need them. Alina hadn't always been the girl who kept her head down. Back in her hometown, she was captain of her school's self-defense team, a quiet champion with a gold medal tucked in a dusty drawer. But life has a way of humbling even the brightest stars. When her father was arrested for a crime he didn't commit, everything changed. They had to move, start over, and survive with just enough to get by. Her mother took on double shifts at the diner, her brother stopped school to work construction, and Alina. She swallowed her pride, stayed invisible, and promised herself she'd never bring more trouble to her family. That promise held, until tonight. The girls who attacked her weren't just random mean girls. They were the it crowd. Rich, polished, adored. Cassidy, their leader, was the principal's daughter, which meant no one dared cross her. She had made Alina's life miserable from the day she walked into Crestwood High. Insults whispered behind her back, her lunch tray accidentally spilled, her locker vandalized with cruel messages. But tonight, they crossed the line. They had laughed as they ripped the hem of her dress, called her names that stabbed deeper than any knife, and left her sobbing in the hallway, clutching the torn fabric like a wounded bird. Alina sat on the cold floor, chest heaving, dress in tatters. Shame curled around her like smoke. All she wanted was to disappear. But then she saw her reflection in the broken mirror near the lockers. Not the dress. Not the tears. But herself. She saw the fire that hadn't been extinguished. The girl who learned discipline through bruises and calluses. The girl who had once stood tall on mats and earned respect through silence and skill. That girl had been hiding long enough. And tonight, she was done hiding. Alina stood up. She used the ripped fabric to tie the waist together. Her makeup was ruined, hair undone, but none of it mattered. She walked back into the auditorium with her chin high. Her classmates stared. Some whispered. Some laughed. But they didn't matter. Because Cassidy and her crew weren't done. They cornered her again near the edge of the dance floor, this time trying to shove her, call it a joke, humiliate her again in front of everyone. But this time, Alina moved differently. Cassidy reached for her, but before she could touch her, Alina grabbed her wrist in a swift motion, spun around, and with a single, calculated move, swept Cassidy's leg, sending her straight to the floor. The room froze. The music didn't. But no one was dancing. Cassidy yelped in pain, and the 2 other girls rushed forward, but Alina ducked, turned, and delivered a side kick that sent one sprawling onto the refreshment table. The last one backed away, eyes wide with terror, mumbling something about not wanting trouble. Alina didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her presence screamed louder than any insult Cassidy had ever thrown. Silence fell over the room. No one cheered. No one jeered. They just stared. And then, a single clap. From the back of the room. Then 2. Then the applause rose like a tide. It wasn't about violence, it was about courage. About finally standing up. About dignity that couldn't be stolen, even when a dress was torn. The principal stormed in moments later, having heard the commotion, but the story had already been told by every phone, every eye in the room. Cassidy and her friends were escorted out. Alina was asked what happened, but this time, everyone listened when she spoke. In the following days, everything changed. Her story spread across school and online. Students she never spoke to before apologized, stood with her, and shared their own stories of being hurt, bullied, broken. Teachers reached out. Even Cassidy's father, the principal, publicly apologized for failing to see what had been happening under his nose. Alina didn't want fame or revenge. She just wanted justice. And she got it, not with fists, but with her quiet strength, her refusal to stay silent, and that single moment when she chose courage over fear. Graduation night wasn't ruined. It was reborn. The school gave her a new gown. She walked the stage with pride, tassel swinging, diploma in hand. Her mother and brother stood in the crowd, tears in their eyes. She didn't just graduate from high school that night. She graduated from silence. From fear. From invisibility. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Help us spread the power of courage and resilience to those who need a reminder they are never alone. Speech balloon special request, please share in the comments, have you ever seen someone stand up for themselves or someone else? We'd love to hear your story. Ask ChatGPT.